Hello, Internet. This is the second time I've done this, because for some reason, OBS decided to start recording, stop recording, and not tell me. So I've watched about 30 minutes of this, so you're not going to get my initial reactions to this trailer, or the Pictomancer reveal, or the female Hrothgar ruler person, because I've seen it already, and I'm very annoyed. So I'm going to be skipping through a chunk of stuff here just to get myself caught up. This is a cool trailer though, but I haven't got my first impression to it. I'm really annoyed. This is the problem with doing everything live. No, this is not live. I'm watching this a couple of hours after it was presented. Just because it's now 5 AM on a Sunday morning and I wasn't staying up to watch it.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
There's not a huge amount new at the start of this trailer. Still like that bass. Yes, all the bits with the Stinian are still the same. Slight little bits and pieces here and there have been added in.
There's no cause for panic.
Don't mind watching it again though, just not my first reaction. First impression. I do like the butterflies. I said that last time, which didn't record. So Godzilla. And that is such a fun transition. Big slab o' meat. Custodian swamped by children. Yeah, this is all the same. Now I'm really paranoid that things are going to stop working again. Right, we've got a slightly extended bit with Alizé. Showing the marketplace. I do not know why we get that slightly extra bit. Is that hinting at boundaries? This little bugger plays more of a role. Oh, that's a female Makote there. When I first watched it, it's like, is that a Hrothgar? But there is one. Yoink! Oh, he knocks the map out of his hand. Interesting. Where does that go? Now we're coming up to my favourite reveal of this trailer. Taco! Whee! Trial is a Pictomancer! This bit's really cool. The compression on YouTube doesn't do it any favours, unfortunately. But yes, Trial is finally going to be able to do something useful. Well, apart from in battle, I mean. And this is very much just a kind of flyover to show off, essentially. We've got this huge bridge which seems to be separating two continents, or two halves of the continents. That's a really big bridge. I wonder if we should have a battle on it. And the second reveal. It's not Alpha, no.
Behold the scene of our next great adventure.
It's...
You and your adventures.
It's...
I trust you have not forgotten the true purpose of our voyage?
this.
At last we are come to the land you call the New World. My home. Tural.
I have thoughts about the female Hrothgar. I do not know if I like the faces. They look quite small. Yeah, they look a bit small. Summer 2024, no release date as of yet. Yoshi-P apologizes for that. Let's skip on. All of this next bit is him talking about bits and pieces, introduces Kate to translate for him, Dawntrail bits and pieces. Let's go forward to the new job, which again, I've already seen, but I'm happy to watch the trailer again.
Content of Dawntrail and the thing you're most looking forward to.
He's not cosplaying as it. He does have a cosplayer to come out. The thing that I'm not a mage player. I'm not a range caster player. I never have been. I've got red mage to 90 and summoner, obviously, because you get it for free as scholar. Black mage is at 81 or something. But this looks really cool for two reasons. It looks really cool because of the kind of unique spell animations, but also because as a true end game player, I don't do any end game content. I just like the glamours. The brush and palette seems like it will have a lot of fun options in comparison to, say, something like Scholar. Which, so, there's only so many things that you can do, I think, to make a book look cool. But an actual brush and a palette, and they've got ink-covered books, and there's loads of different bits and pieces that they can do. So they spend a bit of time talking about the Pictomancer, inspirations from FF6. They bring out this really cool cosplay, which looks super cool. Yoshida is kind of disappointed that, well, no, the audience is kind of disappointed that Yoshida doesn't have the cosplay on himself. These are the basic things. Interestingly, starting location in Gridania. Because as Yoshida says, we haven't had a class/job starting in Gridania for years. What jobs actually start there? You've got Conjurer, you've got Summoner, you've got Lancer, you've got Bard. Are there any others? Was Summoner the last one? Oh, did Gunbreaker start there? Can't remember. Either way, yeah, starting level 80, no class requirements. Very, very straightforward. They pick out the fact that there's a lot of abilities with cast times, but they've still got some instant bits and pieces. And they spend a chunk of time just labouring this idea that in FF6, when Pictomancer was first introduced, it's the only game it's really been in properly, the only mainline game, it was a mimic job, essentially. They took the enemies and they painted them and threw the abilities back at them. A little bit blue magey. But that wouldn't work for FF14. So it's a proper caster class. They can support, they can buff. A little bit more supporty than maybe something like Black Mage. They show the trailer again. They talk about the cool artistic effects. Moving
Duplicate has
forwards,
a bit of a special
they're
meaning in
changing
MMOs, you know.
the name
Dupes
in
of
German,
Iron.
duplicants, because it's duplicates, it's duping, and in MMOs and ARPGs, duping,
But at the time,
copying
because the
items
job
through
was, in fact, duplicating your
glitches and
enemies,
bugs.
That's why they
It's not a great
translated it
term
as
to
it
use, so
means
they changed it. I don't
duplication.
think it's going to have huge impact, but it's something that they're going to do going forward. So any FF game from now on, and they might go back and change it as well, they're going to use this Pictomancer. So we've got a little bit more about the story. This is nothing new. This, however, is new.
Okay, so you're wondering, I'm sure, when is patch 6.55 coming out?
Oh, right, this is new. Oh, sheets.
Coming out on January 16th.
Ah. You may have noticed from the lack of patch 6.5 content on my channel that I haven't finished playing it yet. And I know that's terrible, but I've been so busy. I've started 6.5. I have started. I've got an hour and a half-ish recorded. 16th is a week Tuesday. I will get round to it. Yeah, I'm not burnt out from FF14 or anything that a lot of content creators are. Yeah, I'm not burnt out on FF14. I've just been incredibly busy, and then we've had Christmas and New Year's. So I've done a lot of work, just not in FF14. Unfortunately, it's fallen by the wayside a little bit, but that's fine because I will get to play 6.5 and 6.55 essentially back to back, which actually might be the better way of doing it. This is all new for me now anyway. This is why I'm not skipping ahead anymore.
And on the left is what we've shown you so far.
But there's another bit up at the top across the big bridge. Oh, what is that? A giant mysterious dome.
But Tyrol is actually a very massive continent expanding from north to south.
There's a big
and we will be
ravine
full length during our
in the ocean. Is that underwater or is it an actual split? That's Mericidia down there, isn't it? Interesting that Mericidia is, and we know it's going to be covered, but yeah. Puliolal. I really like that artwork. It's very kind of South American. I don't want to say Aztec or Incan or whatever because I know that I can't tell the difference and I don't want to.
Functions as a bridge connecting the north and south parts of the continent of Tyrol.
And you can actually see the bridge over to the right. It's a really big bridge. Yeah, so it is. It's a ravine going down.
Will be at the center of our adventure. It will span
because
from
the
north
sea's
to
falling
south
down
of
into
Tyrol.
it. One assumes that we won't be able to fly across there. They're going to have zone lines at one end of the bridge and the other. Or maybe a bit in the middle.
Though there's a degree of unity between the cultures of the two due to certain developments that I will not share here, there will be major story developments in both North and South Tyrol that will change the story significantly. So you can almost think of it as a two-part structure.
Interesting. I hope they are experimenting a bit with story structure.
Of course, the whole story overall is one unified story, but you may feel like it does have two distinct arcs when you play through it.
Interesting. 2 acts. As long as they don't do what they did in Stormblood, which I don't think was effective. It wasn't bad, but the hopping between Alamigo and Kugani, I feel, didn't tell a very coherent story.
So far, we've only been able to show you a few clips and screenshots, but we've put together all the materials we have so far into
they spoke about this last time. They hadn't got quite enough ready. Right, more trailer. Show off that lighting engine. At really low bit rates. Hopefully there's a higher fidelity version of this footage available that I can kind of stick around myself. The version that I've got here looks very blurry. This is all stuff that we've seen before. I talked about those stone textures. The FF16 rock comparison. This is new though, isn't it? Kind of a prairie town. Again, that American West feel with a cerulean. Yeah, kind of an oil pumping town or cerulean pumping. Real kind of Utunga Jungles, Kazam vibes. Oh, that looks like a Crag of Dem or the Crag of Holler in FF11. Maybe that's where the FF11 stuff's going to tie into, raid-wise. Oh, look at that water. Ah, I love their enchanted forests. Ah, that's pretty, even at this terrible video quality. Let's just make sure that's on. That's gorgeous. I cannot wait to go there. There's always one zone per expansion that's like, yeah, I loved the Ratika Greatwood and Ilmeg
So we've taken a look at some natural scenes that
Shadowbringers.
really speak of adventure.
In Endwalker, obviously, I really like the final zone. Not just because of the music. Ultima
But those
Thule.
were areas you've seen before, so let's look at some that you haven't.
We haven't seen that before, have we? Had we seen the cool enchanted forest before? Maybe we had. Maybe it's something that I've missed, which is possible.
These are pretty different from what you've seen so far, and for that same reason, we can't tell you a whole lot about them.
That's fine. Just
Please understand.
show us cool things. Don't spoil story for us.
We'll start with a video.
Oh, more video. What? This is the other city, isn't it? So they've got essentially a Wakanda style thing going on here. Technologically advanced on one side, kind of rule on the other. What?
Yeah, so that was a pretty sudden change of visuals there. We really can't show you a lot of specific objects from this area because it would be spoilers, but we can tell you it's called Solution 9.
That's an odd name.
This too will function as a town, much like the player hub of Tuliolal.
I thought it was going to.
I will explain it just a little bit.
Yeah, so this is very much the kind of tribal versus progression, or progressive, isn't it?
Constructed by a totally different civilization than Tuliolal.
But who and what?
I think you can probably tell just by looking.
Yeah, yes. So this is kind of
But maybe
successor.
have a think about why it might be called Solution 9. And we have one more screenshot to show you.
This is all, this is based on Allagan.
I feel like we are loudly destroying any mental image you might have had for Dawntrail right now.
Yes. Yes, indeed. That, I would say, I like the Pictomancer reveal. I liked it a great deal, but this...
Like I said, we can't really show you specific objects in this
don't.
setting because it would be a spoiler. So
Tell us nothing.
erased them all, and this is just the background.
Oh, interesting. So they've actually taken things out. Have they
But are these buildings? Is this a facility? In any case, it's quite different from what we've seen.
It almost looks like it could be underwater based on the diffuse lighting.
But as I mentioned, it will be a player hub, so you can expect a lot of different facilities and features there.
Solution 9. Solutions require problems. It's got to be the solution to something. But for what?
As for
And
what this place
by
actually is, what sort of
what or
story will
who?
take place here, You'll just have to imagine for yourself
It's
something that is
very
quite different from what we've seen thus
FF13.
far up to 6.x.
And I like FF13.
And I'll show you one more area now.
こちらはアートワークとなっています。
This is the concept art.
This is underground. That's definitely Allagan. Heritage Founds.
And this area is called Heritage Found.
I love the contrast with the kind of steam train versus the technology hanging from the ceiling.
Pretty mysterious.
Those things actually hanging down, not the really spiky ones there,
Steam-powered train.
but the ones in the background are a lot like the things that were plugged into Dalamud. Is this a prototype for...
And it certainly looks like the stuff in the foreground and the stuff in the background were constructed by different civilizations, but this is all one area.
this region overflowing with lightning energies?
This area is absolutely replete with lightning energy. But I can't really give you any more explanation than that.
Was this originally an Allagan site for prototyping the generators like Dalamud? I suspect that's what they're going with. Digging back into the Allagans, I think, is...
There are a variety of areas coming.
It's a good idea to tie into. Ah, that's what it's actually going to look like. When you've got something like this, there is a danger of
So far we've shown you a lot of fields and
it
natural
looking
scenery, but, as
too
we said,
designed.
there's also these
So
very, unique areas
these
with
bits in the
cultures
middle,
that
these
you're enjoying.
newer structures, they look older and rustic from our history, but they would be newer in terms of the chronology of the world here.
It looks a
They've-
little bit like Garlemald, but not
They've got
quite.
to look fitted in, but not designed at the same time as.
And Garlemald was very black and red.
Oh, that's cool. I love the purple. Purple's
In the
kind of
second
my
screenshot here in
favourite.
the background, you can see that same.
Well, actually, technically, my favourite colour is that kind of
maybe?
bluey green that you've got right in the centre. Not the Aetherite, the one to the right. What I call the Necromancer colour. But purple is overall my favourite. My favourite hue. There's no hints whatsoever.
What kind of big fish you can fish up here?
Robo fish.
最後、こんな場所もありますというのだけお伝えしておきます。
There's also this, and that's all I'll tell you.
とにかくですね、
Ah, the lighting on that. That is just to show off their new metal reflection tech, isn't it? That was a big shift, I think. I imagine a lot of people watching that had very similar reactions to me. It's like, wait,
But let's-
what?
Now that we, so now let's move on to system updates and more details about the individual content.
現状お伝えできる最新の情報。
Oh, 100.
As we've said a few times, the level cap will be raised to 100. How many of you have been playing since 1.0?
お、ありがとうございます。
I've been playing since before 1.0.
皆さんとはね、足掛け
I
13
alpha
年以上の
tested.
旅路になりました
I have screenshots.
It's been more than 13 years together.
Yep.
入ってます
2010.
本当にありがとうございますミラチームの
13
長い旅で
years.
も
I've still got my feedback that I put on the official forums for the very early
Of
states.
course, all of you who joined
Of
from
FF14.
2.0 and those of you who started
The question is, what are they gonna do after
so
this?
including
Because
Pictomancer that we
they're
introduced today, as
gonna
well as
run
Viper,
into-
we will have 2 new jobs in 7.0.
ちょっと質問してみようか
and the new limited job.
So let's
ピクトマンサーやるわっていう方
I am totally going to try
who's gonna
Pictomancer.
play Pictomancer.
お多いな
Wow, there's a lot of you.
いやいやいや
It's because it's a cool concept. It was a cool concept in
Who's gonna
FF6.
play everything?
No.
当然やろみたいな
I still haven't got everything up to the end of Shadowbringers
Yeah,
yet.
obviously I'm going to.
I'm getting close to having everything at 80. I think I've only got Ninja left to get there,
Of course.
まずはピク
which
ト
is something I should probably
マンサーバイパーどっち
log in and do some more
結局
dailies
全部や
for.
るって感じ
But I will be playing the expansion probably as Reaper, unless they make some interesting changes to Dark Knight. I still really like Dark Knight, incidentally.
Jobs, with the level cap being raised, we will be adding new actions and updating our previous jobs. as
Action
well.
trailer? No, they tend to release those a bit later, don't they?
していこうと思います
Or
So let's talk about the core battle content, including some new info.
今回もしっかりありますよと
I've actually been doing some of those.
Of course, as far as
The
everything on
XP is
screen goes,
awful.
well, we just want to let you know that we will, of course, be adding more of these.
Doesn't say new challenging
And of
dungeons.
course, we'll be,
You'll notice that we've
the
taken
progress
challenge.
on dungeons is going quite well, actually.
Good, because last FanFest you said that you had nothing to show us whatsoever except a couple of screenshots. Dungeon trailer. The riverboat one. We saw the concept for this, didn't we? So this is on the kind of tropical... Showing off that light. It's amazing how a little detail... That's in the Giant Lands. In fact, we've seen the concept art of that. It's amazing how a little detail like climbing a ladder. That looks very much like... oh, the level 75 dungeon in Shadowbringers? The name of which escapes me off the top of my head. Just that... See, that... If they hadn't showed us that second city, that would have been a real kind of, wait, what? Now it's even more of a wait, what, arguably.
I will tell you I have a message from Soken, which is that this version of the music is just a draft. It's not done yet.
Soken is such a perfectionist. Bless him.
But our progress with the dungeons really is proceeding well. I've gotten to the point of my first stage of quality checks on some of them.
Nice. New enemy
So
types.
take a look at a few enemies.
SWOLLTENDA! The others are cool as well, but SWOLLTENDA.
This thing looks like it lifts, perhaps too much.
It sounds like they've introduced this one already, but I don't recognise or remember what that was from.
So this super buff Sabotender is called the Barrel Tender.
Oh, SWOLLTENDA. I can't imagine people are going to call it that. This is going to get memed on. I'm noticing that all of these are very kind of, again, the kind of Wild Western, tribal stylings.
So all of the new gear that is implemented in 7.0 will have the graphics update applied to it. So definitely take a look at that quality.
It'll all be very kind of high-tech. Yes, no. I'm hoping there will be some high-tech stuff for the other side of things now that they've revealed that.
We did bring a few screenshots, so let's take a look.
Cloth on that. Like the scarf. Oh, that's the summoner gear.
So from the left, we have
Summoner.
Samurai, Sage, and Gunbreaker.
Oh, it's the Taslums? Whatever the sage weapons are called off the top of the screen. It looks like claws reaching down.
It's a little bit hard to tell from the screenshots, but each element of these outfits, in terms of textures, quality, and detail,
You can definitely tell from that. In the game as it currently stands, the red emblem on her lapel would be very
The quality
pixelated.
of the cloth really stands out.
Yes, the texture on that cloth is very impressive. Well, I mean, impressive for FF14. Yeah, it's not FF16.
Of course,
Machinist. Black Mage?
so here we have Machinist, Reaper,
Oh, Reaper.
Astrologian, and
Oh, I
Paladin.
get to wear that. I don't like the fur collar much, but the holes, Astrologian, the velvety nature of the Astrologian's outfit is very noticeable. The feather, actually, it's
Continue
feathers.
brushing up and improving
I
this
do not
gear
like the
until-
Reaper hat, but I like the bodice. The trouble is, it's going to have the skirt
Of
attached
course,
to
it won't
it.
just be job gear. We'll also have plenty of fashionable gear.
Until they put actual cloth physics on the skirts, it's never going to look very
All
good.
right, so let's move on.
Which is a shame, because that actual bodice looks great. Expansive new lifestyle
We have
content.
told you that there will be expansive new lifestyle content.
You have mentioned it, yes.
And finally, our plans have come together, so we do have concept art of that to show you.
こちらです。また
On the moon?
どこ行くんだよっていう感じなんですけど。
Wow, where are we going now? So as perhaps you can guess, the next lifestyle content will take you to various different planets.
一つの星だとね、なんかちょっと絵が変わらないじゃないですか。今回絵代わりっていうところも
With the
考えて
Loporits.
ですね。
If it was just one, you wouldn't get much variety in the scenery, so we thought we'd give you a bunch so you could get a sense of progress.
なんかね、西方の
We've got a spaceship, so...
You're thinking, oh, all right, let me go on an adventure to the continent of Tyrol, but let me just pop over to this other planet also.
って言います。コスモエクスプローラーと言います。
Why
The name of this
not?
content will be Cosmic Exploration.
Why
こちら
not?
のコンテ
You can, of course, play this content solo, but it's really intended for everyone to work together to make progress.
Okay, so it's a bit like Arcadion Restoration.
And with each update, the star that you are working on will change.
どんな惑星をこう巡っているの
Okay,
か
so you're going to have a different planet to go to each time. Be interesting what they do with it.
It'll be a little bit different than the main scenario, but definitely keep an eye out for
You
this
think?
and think about what kind of places you'll visit and what will happen there.
新たなアライアンスレイドについてです。
Pamivian.
Next, about our new Alliance raid.
前回こちらで
This
す
is
ね
the FF11
アライ
one.
アンスレイドどうなるか
Echoes of Vana'Diel.
MMORPG としての大戦
The most
隊
memorable
でもあり
content from
それからね
FF11 for me
なんと
was the
21年を
Prometheus
誇る
stuff.
ファイナルファンタジー11をテーマに
So I
した
hope
内容で
they
お届けしてまいります。
lean into that because
So
it's
as we've
the
told
most
you before,
outlandish
this
and cool
Alliance
looking.
raid will be based on FF11, who is our great senpai in the field of MMOs, having been running for 21 years now.
Yep.
今
I was there at the start of that as well. Well, the North American launch,
一枚ちょっとご紹介
which I imported.
We've been progressing on this development, and so we have various concept art, of which we'll show you one today.
Oh, just the one. It's the Shadow Lord.
存知かと思いますが、
Bum, bum, bum,
こちら
bum, bum,
闇王と呼ばれ
bum.
る存在です。
Those of you who played FF11 will probably know, but this guy is called the Shadow Lord.
まあどんな
I'm sure you're very interested to know how he shows up, what other characters you'll see, and what the story is overall.
That's one of the burning circles, isn't it? The symbol from the burning circles? Is that what they were called? It's been a decade since I last played. I think they were the burning circles that you could
So we will give
use
you more details in future
Beastman's
PLLs, but for now, just
seals
know
to
that Echoes of Vana'Diel
do?
is coming at from 7.1.
はいでは
Looking forward to that.
アイアンスレイドを紹介しますのでこちら
If I had a bingo card,
開幕となる8人レイ
That's
ド
Ultima.
に関してもお伝えしてまいります。
finding coils.
And we have another new story coming with the 8-man raid.
Can't tell what that is. Alright, what are we going to have? Is this going to be...
We have a concept art for that as well, so let's start by taking a look.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be... That looks like a GPU. So it's going to be Allegan. So this is going to be...
really different from our art for the expansion in general.
GPU って言ってる。
See,
Is
I
it
said that.
GPU or what?
グラフィックボードが起立してるって言ってる。
I definitely see a graphic board in there.
Have we got on the side, or is it a
こ
tower?
ちらレイドタイトル
It's a building, isn't it?
The raid title has been decided, and it is
The Arcadion.
The Arcadion. What sort of story will it be, I wonder?
こちらもですね
Some kind of multi-tiered,
新キャラクター登場予定となっています
layered
Of course, there
tower.
will be
to
myriad
fight
new
up.
characters coming with this raid.
An original story.
And the story itself will be a complete FF14 original.
Yeah, so not based on any...
Of course, we will have the normal mode for you to enjoy the story, as well as the higher difficulty Savage.
パッチ
Savage.
7.0リリースからまあおおよそ新たな
Oh,
に関してのお話
I thought they said they weren't doing.
We'll have a new ultimate raid.
次なるですね絶も
Didn't they say they weren't doing a new ultimate?
制作順調に
Or did they say they were only doing one?
The planning and development for this is already moving along.
Any hints? Probably not. Maybe.
As for the theme,
なんでしょ
what will it be?
う聞いてみよ
teasing.
ゼノス
Xenos.
Please no.
こちらどうですか
Just leave him dead. They've got a giant Moogle.
あー
Is that a balloon? Wonder how many people they've got there. It's clearly not full.
We're gonna go in. Eden.
Interesting. Eden Ultimates.
エデンの
Which Eden
とある
fights?
ストーリー
So part of the story from Eden will be our theme.
の未来と
Futures
になりました
Rewritten.
So the title will be
Ultimates.
Futures Rewritten Ultimate.
この名称
That was the Reen boss fight, wasn't it? I forget.
As you know, this is also the name of patch 5.4 and along with its art.
今でもですね
5.4
非常に人気のあるストーリーと
It feels so long ago.
This is even now a popular story and very popular characters.
Yep.
So please look forward to what we will do with them in this raid.
See how we're gonna mess you up.
説はですね
We are planning to release this ultimate in 7.1.
まあ
Fairly early in the expansion, at the same time as the Alliance raid. So are they releasing it early so that they can do another one in 7.3 or
Now just some
7.4?
quick update.
Blue
We
Mage,
have quite a few things we'll be updating.
inconceivably further Hildebrand,
7.X
Gold Saucer,
シリーズ
PvP,
の
variant
アップデートを
dungeons,
していきますよと
new plans for
いう
deep
お知らせと
dungeons.
してとにかく
I assume we won't get Hildebrand every patch this time, because it's not going to be tied to the relic. I assume.
Hildebrand is really eating up our budget with his fancy cutscenes, but the development team really wants to do it, so there will be more Hildebrand.
それから PVP のアップデートも本格的に
I still get the impression that the budget for FF14 is non-existent. It feels like a lot of the profit that FF14 makes
Major PvP updates will be
goes
starting
to
from 7.1.
propping up Square Enix's awful business decisions in other areas.
それからですね世界中でかなりお声を頂戴しているこちら
And we've received a lot of feedback on this subject, so we want to talk a little bit about new field operations.
一部ですねインタ
What
ー
are
ネ
they?
ットではちょっとお話
I've mentioned this a bit in interviews, but in 7.x we will be introducing something in the style of Eureka and Bolsja, a new field operation.
Oh!
参加してですね
I had not I had missed this. So,
This will be something for a lot of players to participate in simultaneously in order to clear.
so a new zone.
Please wait a bit and we'll give you some more information.
Yeah. The problem with Bolsja, I liked the idea behind it, but I didn't like how it railroaded you into needing a load of other people to do a dungeon thing in order to make progress. And I never actually did. Never actually did.
Yeah, the times have really changed because I remember when we started with Eureka, everyone was like, oh, Eureka?
I never played Eureka at launch. No, I did play Eureka, it was the diadem that I didn't do. A lot of people look at Eureka and Bolsja as being what the relic grind in 6.x should have been, rather than tying it to tomestones and Hildebrand.
But we saw it through to the end, and we worked hard to develop the content into something that a lot of people ended up enjoying. And we have taken a break for a while, but it will be back now, and we look forward to developing more similar field operations.
There wasn't a huge amount to Bolsja, really, was there?
Okay, just one more.
Most of it was
announcement
fates.
欧州ファンフェスで
It's Beastmaster.
新たなリミテッドジョブ、まあ、
Probably.
パッチ X シリーズのちょっとね後半で実装とはなりますが
It's going to be Beastmaster. It's not going to be Puppet Master.
So we announced before that we will be having a new limited job released in the latter half.
That's a
of
Blue
6.x.
Mage, obviously.
7.x. Today we will tell you just the name of this job.
No. Beastmaster, yeah.
魔術界を実装させて
Not massively surprising.
Beastmaster.
も
Nothing more? No concept arts?
As a limited job, of course, we are proceeding with plans to allow you to play solo or in parties with other limited jobs.
まあ
So you could combine Blue Mage and
何
Beastmaster.
かしらねこうちょっと収
Which would make
集
sense.
的な要素も
It's not about
ご用意したいと
balanced
考
content.
えていますので X シリーズの
Can I have a pack of Sabotender or
よ
Swolltenders?
りアートとかね
Or Tomboys?
出していけるようになったら
As it is Beastmaster, we are thinking of having some kind of collection feature to go with it, obviously. Once we have art and more information, we will share it with you.
Have you
Am I
forgotten
forgetting
something?
ロスん
Female Hrothgar.
ロスえ
Something Hrothgar?
ロスがあるあ ウクラマトの
Ukramoto, yes.
ああ
Yes, yes.
そうだった
Ooh. Huh. The way the hair flaps from the base of her neck is odd. The metal textures with the new lighting. I still think their heads are too small. Huh. Yeah, in higher quality bit rates and higher resolution, this probably looks a lot better. The fur on the shoulders is quite noticeable. I quite like the starter gear as well. Hopefully we'll be able to get something akin to that for other races. Oh, she's got stripes as well. The one on the left looks the best.
ありがとうございます大変お待たせいたしました
Is it just me or is their tail really high up?
種族であるロスガルの女性をプレイヤーキャ
Like,
ラクターとして
isn't that coming out of...
させていただきます
That's not where her tail
After
should
a
be.
long wait, we will finally
It's kind of coming out the
reach
middle of her back.
race, female Hrothgar.
様々なね
I think that should be like 3 or 4 inches lower, surely. Like her actual tailbone.
というのを心がけ
We did our best to straightforwardly make these as sleek and strong looking as possible.
Yes. See, her head looks proportions,
まあロスガル
but the actual ones that we've seen in game don't. They look too small. Maybe it's just
As
me.
you know, what we have for the Hrothgar currently is that they hail from Ilsabard.
Yes.
So you will be aware of this from the setting we have in game already, but female Hrothgar are typically rare, but they do have surpassing leadership qualities.
今回の物語
Don't think we knew that. We knew that they were rare.
As far as Tural goes, they have a home in Yaktel. So please look forward to meeting them.
These will be
キャラクターとして
available in
可能になり
the
ます
benchmark, one would
And of course,
assume.
you will be able to play as them as well.
Yes.
種族の追加は
Obviously.
大変なの
Making a new race is really hard, and I have continually said throughout these 10 years that this will be the last one.
Yes.
これでプレイヤー種族の追加を
But this really will
し
be.
たいと考えておりますがどうなるかは分かりません皆さん次第です
That's the end.
And I'd like to say this will be the last one, but perhaps I can't. It depends on you.
はい先
She's so
ほど
fluffy.
紹介したぜひですね
It's not going to make me change,
魅力的なキャラクターがや
but
っていますので
they
ご
look
注目く
they
だ
look
さい
alright.
Of course, our Wuklamat that we introduced earlier is also a female Hrothgar.
I,
And she is
I
really
assume
able
they
to
have
do
learned
her,
from
so
the way
look
they did
forward to
the
meeting
hair
them.
and stuff on the male Hrothgar.
But at the very end, I would like to show you one more quick thing.
Oh. Ooh. Is this the... This is kind of the expansion poster.
はいこちら吉田明子さん書き下ろしのアートとともに
Who's that? In the middle at the top.
So with this art from Yoshida Akiko, we will end the keynote. Thank you.
というわけで黄金のレガシ
It's
ー
got a big ass mace as well.
2024年に
Put that back on in a sec.
発売となります
We will, I assure you, release Dawntrail in 2024.
発売日
Right, there's a load of other bits and pieces.
As
There's,
soon
there
as
looks like there's other bits and...
こちらの後ね見たことないキャラクターがいたりもするんですが
Is it, that is Sakaguchi.
ご想像してワクワク
Lots of stuff there. I'm really interested in finding out more about how Pictomancer is going to play. I'm not massively enthused by Viper, but I will give it a go, as I have done with all of the jobs. I think the standouts, the two standouts from this keynote have been Pictomancer, and also the reveal that there's a whole kind of technological side to the areas and raids of this expansion that I at least was not expecting. And I'm my biggest concern about FF14 has been the transition between the Ascian story arc, the Zodiac arc, and that story coming to a close and starting off a new story. Because the question of how you are going to follow on from a decade-spanning story with such memorable and interesting and, in the end, very fleshed out antagonists. And I'm not going to say villains. Definitely you're going to say antagonists, because, you know, that's what they were. They were from their point of view, they were doing the right thing. But how do you follow that up? And I think that is something that I've seen people critiquing the 6.x kind of interim 6.1 through 6.55 patches as, you know, the zero stuff, the gold best stuff. I think though that the biggest issue that Final Fantasy XIV has as a narrative-driven MMO is the nature of it being an MMO. It's the way the story comes in short bursts. Endwalker, as a whole, in terms of 7.0, was great for me. 7.1, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, because of how slowly that story has developed, it loses the impact, it loses the pace. And because it came off the back of Endwalker, which had 20% more story, and was the culmination of an arc, it hasn't for me felt like filler, but it does kind of feel like, because it's a separate interim kind of chapter, it feels like realistically I could have stopped playing at the end of 7.0 and then done the 7.1 I'm going to keep on saying 7. Could have stopped playing at the end of 6.0, at the end of the Endwalker storyline, and taken 18 months just to say, I really enjoyed the experience of that story. And I'll come back to it just before the next expansion, and I'll play through all of the 6.x stuff. Because that, for me, is the biggest issue. I don't get to enjoy the story because... And if you've seen any of my previous videos where I play through the stuff, I almost always start it off with, it's been ages since we last looked at anything, because of how, you know, far apart the patches are. So that drip feeding of narrative is difficult to write, and it's difficult to remember. I almost feel like they should do what Alan Wake, the original Alan Wake, did. I've got that in my mind because I've played Alan Wake 2 recently. But, you know, at the start of each patch, they should have a previously on Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, or previously in patch 6.3, or, you know, just that little recap of, these are the main things that happened. It doesn't need to be, you know, an in-game cutscene or anything. It can just be a little montage with, you know, their kind of sepia-filtered screenshots of and text. This is what happened in the previous patch. Just to remind you, because when you're looking at 3+ months between them. That's a long space of time. And for somebody who isn't a Final Fantasy XIV content creator like some people are, you know, somebody who plays a lot of other games and maps Metroidvanias and stuff and throws himself into that, just remembering what happened previously is tricksy. But of course, that's what the New Game Plus feature's for. You know, I mean, I've got 2 chunks of 6.5 recorded. I might wait till 6.55 comes out and New Game Plus, the whole thing. I don't know. I mean, mind you, 6.55, didn't they say it was like the 16th of January? So, getting close. Anyway, I'm rambling at the end of a video that's already going to take me most of this morning to edit together, because it is now 5 to 7 in the morning. So, my apologies for the start of this, the lack of first reaction and impression. I'm still quite annoyed about that. There were a lot of things that I talked about that aren't on film. I hope I haven't made reference to something that I've talked about that actually hasn't been in this video. I don't know. If you have enjoyed it though, if you've enjoyed my reaction and the commentary such as it has been, leave a like, subscribe for more, support me over on coffee.com. Links to all of that kind of stuff down in the description. I'm going to go edit. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Let me know what you thought of the Pictomancer reveal. Of that keynote, what was the thing that most caught your eye? It was the Pictomancer reveal in the trailer and the cool technological cityscape. Solution 9. Makes me think of District 9. But yeah, what's a Solution 2? It's Allegan's. Something Allegan. Please look forward to it. Cheerio. I'm so tired now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.